everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Reggie and today I'll be sharing with you a book haul. If you're new to my channel, and I know many of you are, thank you for joining me. Welcome. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, the bell notification if you want to know when I post new videos, which happens weekly. But anyways, if you're new around here, you probably don't know that I don't buy books that often. I obviously buy books because I'm doing a book haul, but I mostly read from my library, and now I have a lot of unread books on my shelf, so I'm trying to read all of the unread books on my shelf this year. And so because of that, I don't haul books like monthly. I do hauls like maybe 1 to 2 times a year. This is the first haul of 2019, and I've got about 25 books to show you that I've acquired since like January. So we'll go ahead and start. I just have like them thrown on my bed and I'm just gonna pick them up at random. So the first one I have is The Evolution of Jeremy Warsh by Jess Moore. This was actually sent to me by the author and it's signed, which I didn't know until just now, but it's super sweet. I don't know the specifics of this book. Essentially, it's about this boy whose grandfather passed away, and ever since then he's been kind of in a creative funk. And one day one of his closest friends comes out and he's inspired again to like pick up a pencil and draw or whatever his creative outlet is. And I don't know too much more about it other than it was described as for fans of like Nina LaCour, Becky Albertalli, that kind of writing style and that kind of story. So I'm really interested in what this book has to tell. Next up we have, of course, Again But Better by Christina Riccio. I am super into supporting booktubers when I can. I got the Barnes & Noble edition and I got the one that's signed, which is great. Love me a good signed book. Next up I have Beneath a Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. This is actually a book that my mom read and loved so much that she sent it to me. All I know about it is it's a World War II historical fiction, and she said to read it with a box of tissues. Next up, I have The Reckoning of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin. This is the sequel to The Becoming of Noah Shaw, which is the sequel series to the Mara Dyer trilogy. So a lot of books come before this, but I really like Michelle Hodkin, and I had The Becoming, so now that I have The Reckoning, I can binge both of them. I also got Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. This is the paperback, which was recently released. I love paperbacks. Paperbacks are my favorite. This was also my favorite book I read last year, so I really wanted to pick up a copy, reread it, and tab it up, and just own like one of my favorite books. Definitely my favorite memoir of all time. Next up, I have Race Me in a Lobster Suit, Absurd Internet Ads, and the Real Conversations That Followed by Kelly Mannon. This was sent to me by Quirk Books, and I'm really excited to read this. I think it'll be a quick read, and it sounds really fascinating. Next up, I have 2 books from the Life's Library Book Club, which is the book club run by John Green and Rosie, which is great. We have We Crossed a Bridge and It Trembled by Wendy Parliament, and we have A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Sultan. Next up, we have Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a big chunker. I'm about halfway through it. I'm currently reading this, and this is a adult high fantasy book about a world in which queendoms and dragons are present, and we're following 2 different portions of this country, the West and the East, who have very different philosophies and ideologies about dragons and how to approach them. And this book starts as like an inciting incident, and the dragon saga starts. Things are changing in the world of dragons, and this book kind of explores that and the ways the different parts of the country are tackling that, and I'm loving it so far, but I'm only halfway through. And Samantha Shannon is like one of my all-time favorite authors. I have 2 Taylor Jenkins Reid books. I have Maybe in Another Life and One True Loves, and I'm so excited to read both of these. This one is about a 29-year-old girl who goes to a bar, runs into her high school boyfriend, and has the choice to go home with him and hang out, or she can go home with her friend, who I assume is offering her an out. So this book delves into those 2 separate storylines, what happens if she takes one or the other, and it sounds super fascinating. This is the story of a woman who marries her high school sweetheart, and then on their 1-year wedding anniversary, he dies, and some time passes, she moves on, and she actually finds someone else, gets engaged to that person, and shortly after getting engaged, gets a phone call that her first husband is actually alive and coming home. And so it explores the idea of like if you can love more than one person or things like that. Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, especially her backlist, just sounds so fascinating to me. I know her narrative and her writing style has kind of shifted since The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but her backlist books as like an adult who's like kind of becoming an adult and who's married and stuff like that, her backlist titles just fascinate me, and I'm so excited to read these. I have another book from the Life's Library Book Club. This is The House of the Spirits by Isabel Endell. Next up, I have 3 books. Let's see if I can get these in the right order. We have The Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate, and The Stone Sky, and these are all by N.K. Jemisin. This is a trilogy that's dystopian, feminist, and that's honestly all I really know about it. I've heard really good things, and basically what happened is I was at a work trip for one of the places I worked at, and my supervisor heard that I was really interested in these books. She had the second and third one and gifted them to me, and then I picked up the first one because I needed to have a trilogy if I owned 2 of them. Recently, I went to Canada for a little mini vacation, and while I was there, I picked up 2 books that I haven't seen in the US, and I was really excited to get my hands on. They're actually both by Rainbow Rowell, which is kind of silly and random, but I'm going to a Rainbow Rowell signing in the fall, so I decided it would be perfect to pick up books that she can sign. So I got Almost Midnight, which is a bind-up of 2 short stories she wrote. And then I got Fangirl in paperback with sprayed edges. I own Fangirl, but mine was hardback and had like a big split in the dust jacket. So I'm still going to get that signed, and I'm actually going to do a giveaway for that on my channel if anyone doesn't mind a split dust jacket or just doesn't want the dust jacket at all, but wants the signed copy of the book. There you go. But yeah, I really love the sprayed edges, so I was really excited to pick this up. Next up, I have another book that was sent to me by Quirk Books. This is Much Ado About Mean Girls, which is so on brand for me, and I'm super excited to read this. Then I also, from a publisher, Atria Books, got Things My Son Needs to Know About the World by Frederick Bachman. I love Frederick Bachman. He's my all-time favorite author. One of my favorite books is by him, and so the publisher sent me this unsolicited. I didn't know it was coming, and I was so excited when I got a final copy in the mail, and I tabbed it up. I also got a copy of Hold Still. This is by Nina LaCour, and this is a story. This is, I think, Nina LaCour's debut, actually, or one of the first books she published, and this was recently reprinted in this beautiful cover, but this is about a girl whose best friend passes away. I heard it's really good and impactful, and I love Nina LaCour, so I'm really excited to read this, and it's also really short. We've got On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Of course I was going to buy this after I loved The Hate U Give. This is not related to The Hate U Give, but it's set in the same, like, community town, Grandview Heights, and this follows our main character, Bree, who wants to be a rapper. Her dad was an underground rapper, passed away. He was actually shot, and this follows her kind of living in a very different worldview than we saw in Angie Thomas's last book. This book deals a lot with poverty and with Bree's ambitions and why she has these ambitions to be like a famous rapper because she wants to bring in money for her family. Very wonderful, complex, nuanced story. I really love this. Highly recommend. Oh, another Rainbow Rowell book. I got Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This was one of the few Rainbow Rowell books I didn't own. It was the first one of the 3 Rainbow Rowell books in this haul that I decided to buy. I found it at Half Price Books, and again, knew I was going to a signing, so I decided to pick it up in anticipation of that. The signing is months and months away, but I'm prepping now. We are almost done, but I also picked up We Both Die at the End. I had a really big coupon, like 50% off or something, and I decided I wanted to get a book, but I like paperbacks. Haven't read this yet. I was in the mood for sad books. I'm always in the mood for sad books, if we're being completely honest, but I know Adam Silvera packs a punch with the sad books, so I picked up this one in anticipation of one of those days where I just want a sad book, and I'm probably going to be able to fly through this. The last book I have to haul for you today is Between the Worlds and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I went to see Ta-Nehisi Coates speak in February. It was an amazing experience. Can't wait to read his fiction book. I do have an e-arc of that. I guess I've never hauled e-arcs or e-books or audiobooks in these hauls. Is that something you're interested in? Let me know if you are. I could do that because I get audiobooks and e-arcs way more often than I get physical books. So that may be something you'd be interested in. But anyways, back to this book. I went to see him speak in February. I had already read this book, but I really wanted to reread it. And I didn't know if there would be a signing in stock. I didn't think there would be, but in the event that there was, I really wanted to have the opportunity to get the sign. There wasn't a signing. Again, kind of knew that. But like I said, in the event that there was, I really wanted to have a copy, and I just love this book. I can't wait to reread it and again tab it. I love rereading and tabbing books. It's like a joy. Those are all the books I have to haul, but before we go, I did want to ask you if you've read any of these books. Let me know which one you think I should start off with. If I didn't mention that I've already read it, I probably haven't, so let me know in the comments down below which one you think I should start with. What is one of the ones I just really have to read as soon as possible. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!